What does blasphemy mean? Why is it an important law of the Noahide Code? In this video, we will look at the Noahide Prohibition of Blasphemy, what it means, where it's derived, and what the general laws entail. In my previous videos, we have already established that God is the ultimate cause of everything. God continually wills everything into existence. Everything is ultimately dependent on Him. So our life, our health, our needs, blessings, they all come from God. Thus, we should express gratitude for His continual benevolence, upon which we are continually dependent. Now, the opposite of this ideal reverence for God is blasphemy. Blasphemy usually refers to any spoken irreverence, impiety, or sacrilege against God. Thus, a Gentile is guilty of blasphemy when one utters a blasphemous statement using one of God's divine names or appellations, those of which we will get into in another video. We first see the prohibition of blasphemy in Genesis 2:16, and the Lord God commanded upon Adam. As we emphasized in the idolatry video, the three main takeaways from this verse, according to the sages, are: I am God, do not exchange me for another God, which is the prohibition of idolatry. I am God, do not curse me. This is the prohibition of blasphemy. And cursing God generally means saying that God should harm himself. God forbid. Even though it's kind of nonsensical, but disrespectful nonetheless. And then, I am God, the fear of me shall be upon you. This obligation to fear God is part of the general commandment to guard yourself against blasphemy. Again, all of the Noahide laws were repeated at Mount Sinai, the ultimate revelation, but blasphemy is treated even more explicitly for everybody. The verse is Leviticus 24:15-16. Instead of just saying, you shall not do this, you shall not do that, like in many of the other verses, in this verse, God says, any man who will blaspheme his God shall bear his sin, and one who blasphemously pronounces God's name shall be put to death. And just to assuage those weary of death, this is by an empowered Beit Din court, which we don't have today. So there wouldn't be any putting to death today. But the key point of this verse is ish ish. Ish is the Hebrew for man. Ish ish is any man. So it's not just the law for the Jews, but also for Gentiles. And blasphemously pronouncing God's name, we will get into in another video. In general, included in the prohibition of blasphemy are 4 prohibitions, 1 obligation, and the offshoots that they contain. The first is not to curse God. An extension of this is not to curse any person. Not to show contempt or disrespect toward God, which includes mentioning God's name in vain. Not to destroy any writing that includes one of the holy names of God, which includes not to destroy something that is designated for a holy purpose, like holy books or a synagogue. Not to swear falsely, which includes lying, saying a lie. And then an obligation to fulfill a spoken oath or vow. Remember that in future videos we will explore all of these laws, where they're derived. I know a lot of them probably don't make sense right now, and maybe even some seem harsh. But I can assure you, we will get into them and they will eventually make sense. So subscribe to stay tuned. I hope you guys learned something. Comment down below what you think. Thank you for watching.